Hello, everyone. Thank you for the privilege of speaking here today. Before my 4 incredible years at Penn, I attended a small high school in a small town just outside of Boston. But I had a big dream to one day become a nurse. And I say with absolute conviction that my dream, like the dreams of many other students in this room, has been made possible through the extraordinary kindness of the UPenn scholarship donors. My calling to the nursing profession has had a consistent presence throughout my entire life, beginning with my own tenuous start in a neonatal intensive care unit. It was in the NICU where I first experienced the healing powers of a nurse when my twin sister and I went straight from the womb to the walls of an incubator. Olivia and I were born 10 weeks early. I weighed just over 2.5 pounds, slightly more than half a bag of flour. My head circumference was a whopping 11 inches, about the size of an orange. And I was the lucky one. Olivia weighed 1 pound and 4 ounces, comparable to the weight of a can of soup. Her head, the size of a clementine. She was not breathing when she was born, and both of our organs were failing. The prognosis was bleak at best. Spoiler alert, we both survived. Naturally, we were raced off to the NICU, where we would spend the next months painstakingly thriving through the brilliance of medicine, the compassion of nurses, and our parents' desperate prayers that their tiny babies would make it through another night, and each day bringing us closer to our home, where we would swap our tubes and IVs for pastel pajamas. While I do not remember these months, I've heard my parents' countless stories of appreciation and respect for the NICU nurses. It was the nurses who constantly monitored our status, who added their soothing voices amidst the medical alarms, and who held us during the night. It was a nurse who provided much-needed hope when she insisted she take a Polaroid picture of my tiny twin sister wearing my dad's wedding ring all the way up her arm, because, quote, she'll never believe she was ever this small. And ultimately, it was the nurses who so intimately knew our routines and idiosyncrasies and advocated on our behalf for 4 months in the hospital to keep our spirits and souls alive. My next experience with illness was in elementary school when I watched my young Aunt Marie fight a courageous and ugly battle with cancer. My mom would bring us to Mass General Hospital, where we would spend a little cheerful time with my auntie while she endured a seemingly endless 96-hour chemo drip. It was during these visits that I first remember the kindness of nurses and the remarkable difference that a great nurse could make in my aunt's comfort and confidence. Sadly enough, my aunt is no longer with us. She fought hard for 5 years, but died at the age of 41. But her memory and brave battle inspired my sister and me to start a business called Stitch-Away Sickness. Beginning in the 4th grade, we sewed and then sold fleece scarves, donating half the profits to fight cancer. 7 years and at least 1,000 scarves later, we lost count, we met our goal of raising $10,000 for the American Cancer Society. And when we visited the Children's Hospital in Boston to donate our leftover scarf inventory, I knew that I was meant to walk into the face of sickness and smile. Fast forward to my senior year of high school, when I had the privilege of experiencing the compassion and skill set of nurses firsthand while volunteering in the same NICU where I spent my first months of life. There I was, 17 years later, shadowing the very same nurses who hovered over the Cutler twins almost 2 decades earlier. I would spend my shift holding the sickest of babies, observing infant care in progress, and communicating with overwhelmed parents, now reliving the NICU journey from a nursing perspective. Volunteering seemed to bring me full circle. I knew in those defining moments that nursing was my purpose. So now you know the beginning and endpoints to my call to nursing. But this desire only intensified during my first visit to Penn. As I eagerly applied to nursing schools, Penn nursing surpassed any other choices. Acceptance was indeed my dream come true, but I remained only cautiously optimistic as I understood the financial challenge of tuition. And like everything else growing up, everything was ×2 for twins. UPenn was too much of a reach for my family. Torn between fantasy and reality, I attended Penn Preview Weekend. It was during this weekend that I learned of the Melissa Sengbush Inspirational Scholarship, a scholarship in memory of a young woman who, like me, had a dream to become a nurse. The year before she was to start her nursing studies at Penn, Melissa was diagnosed with myelodysplastic syndrome, a rare and devastating bone marrow cancer. She deferred her acceptance to Penn as she underwent countless treatments and procedures to eradicate the cancer. Sadly, Melissa passed away in June of 2000, just 2 years after her diagnosis, but not before making the choice to live her last few months as a college student. It was in this moment that I realized I could be nowhere else but Penn. Melissa did not settle, and the horror of her diagnosis never faltered her dedication to pursue her dream. I knew that being at Penn would shape me into the best nurse that I could be, and I was willing to make whatever sacrifices necessary to embark on this journey that I was fortunate enough to be granted. So you can imagine my joy when I received the wonderful and humbling news that not only did I receive enough financial aid to attend Penn, but that I was the recipient of the Melissa Sengbush Inspirational Scholarship for the 2014 nursing class. In my 4 years here, being a part of Melissa's legacy has meant so much more to me than a scholarship. She has been my touchstone throughout the most difficult times in my curriculum. Melissa empowers me on the best days when I have helped birth babies, and on the worst when my patients have gone into cardiac arrest and died. Inspired by Melissa's attitude, I strive to live every day till its fullest while at Penn and take advantage of the incredible opportunities it offers. Last summer, I got to travel with a group of graduate nursing students to Thailand for 2 weeks as part of a global comparative health class. Through Penn, I've been blessed to work in some of the nation's best hospitals, both as a research assistant and also as a student providing care for critically ill patients. I was able to spend a summer abroad in Spain, completing the class requirements for my Hispanic Studies minor, and in the midst of my nursing curriculum, managed to play on the Women's Club water polo team for 2 years. And remaining true to my roots in fighting cancer, I served on the board of 2 anti-cancer organizations on campus. And of course, Penn also afforded me the privilege of meeting Melissa's parents, Lauren and Doug Spiker, with whom I have developed a lifelong relationship of friendship and support. Through them, I have learned so much more about Melissa, and she has become my ultimate role model in my college experience. Mr. Spiker once explained his daughter's passion for life as, and I quote, "a joyous, turn your head to the sky and laugh kind of living. She never stopped expressing herself, her desire to excel, to live, to celebrate each new day overpowering her disease." End quote. It is with this optimism that I resolved to embrace the exciting uncertainty ahead of me. After graduation, I will be working as a nurse on a transplant unit at Georgetown Hospital in DC, prior to continuing my education in Penn's adult gerontology acute care nurse practitioner program, under which I'm currently submatriculated. Being chosen to honor Melissa's legacy has been the greatest privilege that I have ever received. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Spiker, and a heartfelt thank you to all of you donors who have made it possible for you Penn students to achieve goals, accomplish dreams, and yes, sometimes even turn our heads to the sky and laugh throughout it all. Thank you.